Okay, as many of you know, if you've watched this channel for a while, my favorite comic book character of all time is Nightwing, or specifically, Dick Grayson.
Get off that nigga dick, bro, what is you doing?
So with that said, and me being an established DC media fan as someone who's been watching their projects since like 2006, everything from Teen Titans to Batman the Animated Series, to Static Shock, to Batman Beyond, to Young Justice, to Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and much, much more. I'm a nerd. So when in 2017 it was announced that DC would be releasing their own streaming service, I was tapped in. Pre-ordered and now awaiting a brand new non-CW produced Titan show coming in 2018. And when the show came out, boy was it ass or what? Everyone hated Titans, especially once you got past the initial joy of just seeing some of our favorite characters and DC's most beloved young superhero team portrayed on TV. You realize that the show was just like really underwhelming. The action, the plot, the visuals, and just the baffling decisions made on the show were so bad. But I'd say the biggest victim of this atrocity committed by this show in season 1, because so far, season 4 or season 3, I forgot what we're on, the first part of it that's come out, it's actually pretty good. But the person and character whose image, characterization, and just overall core essence of his character who was just fucked up entirely in this show would be Dick Grayson. 1940s nicknames aside, I think it's important to understand who Dick Grayson is outside of the Titans abomination in order to explain what makes him so poorly portrayed in the show. Dick Grayson, as argued in one of my previous videos, watch it if you haven't, is arguably one of the most important figures and characters in the entire DC universe. Beginning under the wing of the Bat, he was able to develop a strong sense of justice and honor, along with cultivating a level of confidence that is almost unwavering in most situations. Throughout his time under Batman and just throughout his publication, he has led numerous teams in DC's catalog, from the Titans themselves, Young Justice, the Outsiders, the Justice League itself, and has been one of the leaders of the Bat family for over a decade. The things that make this possible and make him such an integral part of DC's universe, despite originating as a sidekick and constantly being held back by the shadow of the Bat, are his relentlessness to do the right thing, his loyalty to his friends, and commitment to maintain peace and cooperation within the superhero community, and the last thing is his maturity. Dick Grayson is one of the most emotionally stable, reliable, approachable, and also surprisingly vulnerable people in all of comic books. He's a very relatable guy, and that's not because of his own suaveness or his smoothness when it comes to the girls in his life. It has nothing to do with his looks. It has nothing to do with his actual abilities in combat fighting or anything. It has to do with the fact that he decided a long time ago that he would not, could not, and has continued not to be like the Batman. He isn't comfortable with being a symbol, a figure for people to rely on and place their hope in blindly. He wasn't going to seclude his personal life completely away from his superhero life for the sake of complete secrecy, to cast a shroud of darkness. He's open, he's accepting, he's reasonable, and he's the only tether these gods and figures of superheroes in the DC universe have to just a regular, good person dressed in spandex. We've seen him portrayed on different scenes over the years, whether that be in Batman the Animated Series, Teen Titans, Under the Red Hood, Young Justice, Batman Bad Blood, Injustice, and many more. And for the most overwhelming part of it, I'd say his characterization in these stories are relatively accurate, if anything just inoffensive, until Titans Season 1. Season 1 follows Dick Grayson as he rescues a young Rachel Roth, also known as Raven, from the clutches of her dark stain of a family. He reunites with some old friends he used to fight crime with, he investigates supernatural happenings, and attempts to stop Rachel's father, Trigon, from being summoned to Earth to do bad things. Overall, this type of plot summary or just structure across the season doesn't sound too bad until you actually watch the show and you realize it's fucking horrible. So the twist that was supposed to be added to the Titan show, as well as all of DC Universe's other original properties, was that it was going to be a darker, grittier, and more mature takes on this universe's beloved heroes, which is why in the opening minutes of episode 1, Robin/Grayson's introduction is through a street fight that sees him ending it by smashing a man's head on a car door window and proclaiming, "Fuck Batman." Early in the show's runtime, it's portrayed through Grayson that his taking under the Bat's wing was kind of orchestrated by Bruce Wayne himself, And along the way of his Robin training and his crime fighting journey, Bruce turned him into a little fucking psychopath. Because the biggest sin this show committed is by portraying Dick Grayson as Jason Todd and depicting Bruce Wayne as Lex Luthor. What makes this storytelling decision just bad, and not just a simple deviation from the source material and also literally every other interpretation of the character, is the consistency, or lack thereof, of this decision. Titans Season 1 is more of a Robin and Friends show rather than be about the actual team coming together. The team he creates early, which is Starfire, Gar, and Rachel, are split up in their first full episode with each other. The motif of family and teamhood is introduced before these people even properly introduce themselves to each other. When Hawk and Dove come in, the angst and problems arised from their eluded past are always just the talking point in the conversation, and there is no such thing as healthy dialogue or any thoughtful sentences said by anyone during these conversations. And the only consistency throughout all these plot points is that Dick Grayson is jumping in and out of people's lives, going on side adventures to introduce new characters, and every other episode, while vaguely inching closer to actually stopping, well, at first it's the nuclear family, but then it's Trigon, I guess. I'll give the show this for Season 1. Grayson's violence, if you want to call it that, is portrayed as a character flaw like it should be, and it's something that he hates in the show. It's something that everyone else has a problem with, and as the show grows, we see him have more disdain towards this part of himself, and we see him actively fighting it as well, as it's an attribute that he probably picked up from Batman, I suppose. At least that's what's portrayed in the show, and it's something that is very much addressed. It's also kind of put into context the more that the show goes on, because we're introduced to more maniacal people than him, like Jason and especially Hawk. But even then, it's inconsistent at best. Because in this show, Dick Grayson is supposed to serve as the catalyst for coming into these people's lives, bringing them together, and being someone who not only uplifts them out of the situations that they were in, whether it be a dark past, whether it be a messy situation currently, or whether it be their eventual fate, and he's supposed to uplift them, whether by bringing them on the team or by him himself being an example that they can follow and lean on. In this show, we have an alien who doesn't know her purpose, while also so deeply trying to reject her misunderstood destiny. We have a lost girl who's running away and trying to stop her destiny from becoming a reality. And we have a young boy whose abuse has transformed him into someone who can never be comfortable in finding solace in anyone else around him. And when they come into this Titans family, they're supposed to grow and transform into greater and better people, realizing their combined struggles that they can overcome through understanding each other better, and also, for the sake of this video, viewing an example of someone who is able to grow and push to reach a point where he has grown past his past, buried the hatchet, and become a better person himself. No matter the interpretation of the character, Dick Grayson is an individual above all else. But he's also an example, which is why he's able to lead so effectively. Now, if you're wondering if this happens in the show, fuck no! Grayson is constantly thrown into this loop of showing clearly violent actions that eventually aren't even connected to Batman or the Robin role, they're just him. There's just something wrong with this nigga. And he says some monologue about wanting to reject the Bat's old ways of becoming a weapon, and then he solves Rachel's problem for the episode, and then he leaves. He leaves, and he goes run into another random part of the DC universe for him to recruit or talk to about his violence and their violence eventually. And then he comes back, talks about family, and cut. That's good. That's a good take. Let's run it again for the rest of the season, actually. I don't even want to talk about Season 2, because Jesus Christ, that shit is even worse with the circular storytelling and inconsistent characterization. But if you all want me to talk about it, I suppose I will. So let me know in the comment section below if you want me to talk about Depression, the show. But for now, that's it for me, because I do have to get off his dick for a second. No pause. Anywho, thank you for watching and supporting the channel recently, as we've been trying to make this comeback and be more consistent in the spring semester, or at least the start of the new year. So I do appreciate everyone who's watching this video, who's been watching the video since the comeback, and just in general, anyone who's come across this video and just heard my voice. I truly appreciate y'all giving me the time of day to just voice my opinions on the things I'm passionate about. Shout out River, he's been helping me edit these videos and put them out for you guys. And also shout out to just any other creator who I've been talking to over the past few months who's helped me come up with ideas and just helped with this comeback and shift in the channel. I truly appreciate all of you. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content recently, because there's more to come in this style and in the style that I've shifted my other videos to, so I hope y'all like it for the rest of 2023. I have to pack to get ready to go back to school, so I will catch you guys later. Hope you have a good day, and peace.